Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Morning Coffee. I have my coffee locked and loaded, of course, and ready to go because we are going to talk about some very interesting topics today. Especially, we are going to talk about energy and what it makes with prices. A little bit just in the beginning, and then we're looking at the charts because there's some really interesting things unfolding. And if that closes like this could be bad in the short term. So we are going to look at that. We are going to talk about Ecomi and Veve as well, obviously, seeing what is new, what has been unfolding there in the NFT space right before New York Comic Con. And we are going to talk everything that you guys are bringing as topics in here. But all of that just right after the intro. Good morning, good morning, good morning, every one of you. I hope you are doing fine today. It's the middle of the week, so usually the most difficult day for everyone who is still in 9-to-5 jobs and hamster wheels and so on. Guys, make sure to smash up the like button right now for me here to get the stream out to more people. That would be very important. And I want to take the chance right now to welcome another member in the fam of the rare hodlers, because that person has become a channel member, and that is G Money right here on the side, here on my side, with the mint number 21. So welcome to the fam, G Money. Really appreciate that. And yeah, so you can see here there's a ton of people already sponsoring the channel. And sponsoring the channel means we do not have to take shitty sponsorships or sponsorship deals, at least for now, right? Because we are uncertain who is good, who is not good. I mean, there's no point in me shilling some exchanges to you right now and getting $200 for that. Although that would be nice money, right? But instead, you are sponsoring this channel by member. Energy is already here. Good morning to you, Energy. What is going on? Who else is here? Let me know. And with that, let's jump right into the topic. We're going to cover a little bit of news first here. So let me move that a little bit more to the upside. There we go. So Treasury yields decline as investors seek safe haven amid Israel-Hamas conflict. Obviously, that is going on. That is right now affecting the world, obviously. And we have to know what is going on because there are some events coming today. Yeah, but let's first start into this. So the 2-year Treasury yield was down by about 12 basis points to a little bit below 5%, and the 10-year was last down more than 13 basis points at 4.653%. So this is obviously bad, and this line shows you the entire problem that we are right now in the US, but I mean the rest of the world has similar problems, and that is why would you hold a bond of 10 years if the 2-year is yielding more percentage than what you would get on 10-year, right? So you would take your capital and buy a 2-year and get a 4.957% return and then rinse and repeat, right? If that is the case, why would you not sell all your 10-year treasury bonds, right? So that is what they call the inverted yield curve. And we see here basically that it's worth more having a 1 month than a 1 year, and also worth more having a 3 months and especially a 6 month. So parking your capital in short-term bonds is way more lucrative than parking it in the long-term ones. And I mean, you see it here, right? 5.5 instead of 4.5 or 4.6. So even the 30-year is not worth it compared to the other ones. That is bad. Usually this curve looks different. Usually in a normal market, this bond curve looks 4.5, 5, right? It would be increasing the longer you hold, the better your return. So basically, the longer you lend money to the government, the better your returns. And basically, we have here concerns about implications of the Israel-Hamas conflict continued on Tuesday, leading investors towards treasury yields, which are traditionally seen as safer investments. Yield prices have declined as a result. Palestinian and so on. Yeah, we have seen what they were writing about the conflict. It's not about the conflict in general. Now, the problem here is, and I've pulled up this first, is that usually when war unfolds in an area, then usually this affects oil, because oil is then massively used in those conflict areas, and basically the oil prices is increasing. We have been seeing that with the previous conflict, and now we are seeing it again. So massive US oil caverns sit empty and will take years to refill. This article, I've pulled it up. I'm well aware that this article is already from July, but it's at least explaining. So national oil reserves in the US at 40-year low after historic drawdown, and then experts say refilling will take decades if it happens at all. Interesting, right? Because right now some people are coming out and saying this feels like the kind of situation where it would be good to have an oil reserve that hadn't been depleted for political purposes. And we see it right now, days left in strategic petroleum reserve. According, I don't know if I couldn't find this in the original, so I'm not quite sure if this is the real headline to the chart, but according to this is from a Reuters source from September the 28th. And that basically the strategic oil reserve of the US is very low. So the only thing that I could check is whether the strategic oil reserve is really that low, is US crude oil in the strategic petroleum reserve that only goes up until the 29th of September, and actually there we see that is very, very low. It's almost and around at the lowest point that it has ever been. So if you look at this, the 3-year curve here for the strategic oil reserve for the US, it is really, really low, really low. So that means that when this reserve is up, basically the US depends on whatever is available on the market, right? And that could increase oil prices, and that in itself could be increasing the prices, the inflation rate. So that is where I'm getting at with this. So if petroleum prices, if petroleum prices are increasing, right, crude oil prices and so on, then inflation is about to increase. And right now it seems that, and this is important for us now, Fed officials suggest that it could be unnecessary to raise interest rates further as rising US Treasury yields markets borrowing more expensive, which can help cooling down the economy, reducing inflation. So we have seen it right now that the US Treasury yields makes borrowing more expensive. So we have seen the Treasury yields in the first part. And now we say, okay, it helps cooling down the economy, reducing inflation. But the conflict here is apparently increasing inflation because oil prices are rising with two conflicts basically on the world. And that could have the adversary effect. Now, today we have two important metrics events coming out. The first one is the Fed minutes are coming out today, so be aware of volatile prices. Also be aware of, for example, if the Fed minutes are dovish, so basically good in the direction of stimulus for the economy and no more rate hikes and so on, then we could pump. But if it's more bearish and announcing further rate hikes and so on, we could dump. And in the event, or like previous event of what is coming out, usually the adverse movement happens for crypto, for Bitcoin, for the markets, because market makers already know more or less what is coming out, and they will play the market in the opposite direction. So just be aware of this. But in terms of inflation and the rate hikes, the CME Watch tool for end of November FOMC meeting currently leans hard to sorry about that, we have to get this a little bit differently here, leans to 14.6% chance that there is another rate hike, and only or end massively to decide that there is no further rate hike in November. And it was estimated before, the chances were way higher before, that there would be another rate hike. So it was, I think here we see it, it was before a 50-50, and then it got lower and lower and lower, and we will only know when I think it's tomorrow, CPI will come out, and basically tomorrow also we will know about the inflation rate. So let me think, let me know what you think about all of this. But if there was a rate hike, then then we would be talking about this. Now, this one here interesting, because we were talking about energy. So here are terawatt hours of the energy consumption. Just if this is an argument for you, if someone says, yeah, but Bitcoin is so bad for the environment and so on, the normal person with their fiat transfers, and I mean we all still rely on fiat transfers because we cannot settle all our businesses in Bitcoin, right? The normal person has their money in the bank and sends around fiat. That is the most energy inefficient way. And then there are people that store their value in gold, which is the traditional way, and that all of that is very high energy consumption. Bitcoin uses half as much energy as banking and gold mining, right? So if someone comes with this like digital money, digital gold, and that it would consume more energy, that is false. It's just false. Terawatt hours are in the double for the banking system, and quite frankly for other mechanics evolving around this in the traditional system as well. So there's really no point in having that argument. Now let's come to why I made the thumbnail and the title, because as far as I recall, I have called this the biggest bull run that we have ever seen. And the real question is, when we have all this negative stuff that we just talked about in the beginning, like with the oil prices and with the world crisis, how can it happen? And actually, the theory of a mega bull run comes out of a negative scenario. Let's talk about it. So I have opened up this article because there are some interesting citations of Arthur Hayes in this article that has been on many shows right now, because he basically put out that Bitcoin is going to hit until 2026 between $750,000 to $1 million. And although that I do not know if these numbers are really possible, I want to discuss with you guys the possibility or why this could be happening. So he basically says, I absolutely agree, his words, I absolutely agree, there is going to be a major financial crisis, probably as bad or worse than the Great Depression. This is something that people are telling since 10 years, that this is going to come. And it's interesting, right? Sometime near the end of the decade, so until 2030, before we get there, we are going to have, I think, the largest bull market in stocks, real estate, crypto, art, you name it, that we've ever seen since World War II. Okay, so he is saying, yes, there is going to be a financial meltdown of the biggest magnitude that we have ever seen. But he says we will have the biggest bull run before. Like, we will have the absolute stimulus excess before. And I'm of the same opinion. If you have seen my altcoin video, my latest one, I am assuming that. I think that we will have a big bull run before the next major crisis, right? However, the question is, when will it start, right? Now, the next one is also very interesting. We have all collectively agreed that the government is here essentially to attempt to remove the business cycle. Interesting, right? Like, there should never be bad things that happen to the economy, and if there are, we want to have the government to come in and destroy the free market. So every time we've had a financial crisis over the past 80 years, what happens? The government rushes in and they essentially destroy some part of the free market because they want to save the system. Now, that is basically the groundworks of why this mega bull run would be happening. We have seen it, so we can only in our lifetimes, if we go back in the crisis, right, we have seen the dot-com bubble, and then the government came in to save the day. And then we had the real estate, the subprime crisis in the US that scattered out into Europe as well. And the governments, not only the US one, came in to save the day. So for example, in Germany as well, there were certain stimuli during the 2008 crisis. For example, if you would hand in your old car, because car manufacturing somehow was hit very hard in Germany by the subprime crisis, and so for example, the Hypo real estate bank in Germany had collapsed. The government came in with, I don't know how many, hundreds of millions of dollars to save the Hypo real estate to prevent a bank run. Now, for the car manufacturing, the government came in and put out €2,500 at the time stimulus. If you would put your old car into the trash and you would buy a new one, you would get €2,500 from the government on top of it. So that is what has happened. Then in the C crisis, in the panic, we had seen that the government stepped in right away, printed money and landed out helicopter money to everyone who was at home. Although productivity of many people was zero, the income was at the same place. So that is all happening. And now let's come to the last part. In the first instance, it creates a massive bull run, market in stocks, crypto, real estate, things that have fixed supply. Maybe they are productive and have some earnings, but after that, we are going to find out that actually the government can save everything. It can't just print as much money as they think to try to save themselves, but fixing the yield and price of their bonds, and we are going to get a generational collapse. Okay, so he's basically talking of the massive top, right? So he basically says here, and this is on Twitter, why do I love these markets right now when yields are screaming higher? Bank models have no concept of a bear steepener occurring. Take a look at the top right quadrant of historical interest rate, and then we're going to look at this a little bit. Take a look at the top right quadrant of historical interest rate regimes. So let's see here. Okay, so we cannot, actually this is a little bit fuzzy, right? But so I think this was better before. I think we cannot really see this, but we see it. I think we see it better here. This is the chart. If the bank models don't have it, then it is considered not a possible outcome and traders don't hedge. As the 2030s curve steepens along the 2-year and the 30-year rates rising, fixed income trading desks start bleeding money and can't figure out why. So yeah, we apparently here we see it. This is again basically the yields. So we have the 2-year and the so we have the 2-year here and the 30-year at the green one, and yeah, basically they are all converging together. So basically they are all going to sell the long year bonds. And then the government, when they do this, when they sell the 30-year and the 10-year bonds, the government has to step in to buy those bonds to prevent a collapse, right? So that's basically what it means. Let's go to Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has been behaving, well, at least a little bit differently. So this here from Stock Money Lizards is interesting. It is a different form of looking at a collapse here right now, because this is the inverted Bitcoin chart. So actually the red lines are a pump, right? If you see this, if you would put this top down, this is our last bull run, and here's our bear market, right? So the red arrow is our bear market, and this is where we are right now. So what he's basically saying, the next 2 weeks or month will give us a break of this trend line. Stay tuned for 0. So 0 is obviously open-end price discovery. So if this would all happen, as Arthur Hayes says, and the stimulus printer goes back on, then we should have a massive bull run following this. And for that, we need this trend line break. And we can see that we had this actually the same way in the last, so this is the last bull market and the last bear market. And then we had the same pattern unfolding that led us into the next bull run. And if you see closely, we are so close to this trend line right now after having two little sacks of bottoms here, and so the breakout should be really, if this is a monthly chart, should be really around the corner, like in a year-end rally, something like that. But that we need a catalyst for that, and don't forget that the catalysts are, for example, the spot Bitcoin ETFs coming out and so on. This is interesting in my opinion, because we have seen in the last months, we basically saw the net liquidity flow into crypto was slightly positive in the last one, but before it was largely negative. So we see here digital and asset investment attracted 78 million inflows last week, double the previous one, with Bitcoin's digital asset funds inflows at about 43 million. Europe accounted for 90% of the inflows, and that is very interesting, because usually most of the money flow comes from the US and not from Europe. The largest inflows since July, very interesting, and that obviously lets us hope for a next breakout. So here the big question now, and this is a question for you, is whether we are, or where we are on this chart, right? I mean, this is basically our bull and bear market structure starting basically out in the next bull run with a disbelief. And the question is, are we in depression right now, or are we in disbelief? So usually the psychology of a market goes by, if we would start basically at where most people started, were like optimism and belief, and then absolute thrill and euphoria. And thrill and euphoria are basically what lead people to buy in a bull market, right? They are absolutely euphoric about the price action. Everyone is a genius. they just entered here and now they're up 50%, and they obviously don't take profit because we are going to the moon. And then we have a big pullback, but complacency sets in, and everyone is like, no, that we have seen that in the last bull run as well, or in the end of the last bull run. And no, it's fine, it's coming back, we are in a super cycle, this is a normal pullback, and the next high will be even higher, which it was just because of inflation, but rid of inflation it looks like this. And then anxiety sets in because we are really collapsing, and denial, it can't be, and then panic and capitulation, and then anger is like, who shorted the market, the government is, and everyone wants to destroy, and these people led us to believe that this crypto is the next one, and so on. So we already had that, in my opinion, right? We already are past anger. We had the depression phase where it's like, okay, crypto's dead, not coming back anymore. Bitcoin is probably going to 10K and so on. And now there are people in the market that are saying that that we are with this leg up right now, that we are coming up for the next bull run, right? I'm one of these people, and there are a lot of people that are telling me that is not the case, because this is only a bear rally, and that we are going to new lows after this, right? And this is why I say that we are probably in this disbelief still. That we're probably in disbelief, and if we are looking at the chart, how it looks for Bitcoin, you can see this here as well, right? So for example, you have here thrill, and then euphoria. Here we had complacency, anxiety, denial, capitulation was FTX, right? Here, capitulation phase, FTX, where people said that the bottom would be in, but it wasn't. And then absolute anger phase like FTX, the exchanges lost the funds, the government is rate hiking and destroying the economy on purpose, blah, blah, blah. And then out of this anger phase, we basically came already up, and that's the depression phase, first pullback, and then now we are in disbelief. And I think when we are putting in the new high, then we are coming into the hope phase, and that is where everyone realizes that this really was the bottom, even the bears. And this is what is about to happen, also in my opinion, right? So yeah, and this is why we more likely than not have in latestly this pullback to 24,000 something to this top here. What is that? 24,700 or something, like slightly below 25K, before we should skyrocket, right? I think that would be it. So it's all about the timing and the mindset. Let's see. Let's look a little bit at the market together about altcoins. So and also let me know. So usually I want to discuss an altcoin, but I couldn't get to good enough analysis, so to say. I think there are some altcoins that are worth discussing. For example, the graph. But let me know, give me something. Let me know which altcoin we should be discussing in the next time. Maybe here Ocean Protocol, which is an AI play. What is this? What does it say here? 912, smash that thing. Yo, smash the like button, guys. That is very important. Obviously, I forgot that completely. Thank you, Green Lantern. So market is mixed here on the month. But on the day we almost have no greens at all. Let me get this out of the face and the chat here. There we go. So this is another of these versions where I don't see the comment. Let me get this out. Now I see it. Okay. So Charles says, I have 5K USD waiting to put into OMI, but it is hard to know when the bottom is. And it's now at 009. No, it's at 0009. It's at 0009. Tracks, okay. We're going to take note of that. Let me just see so that I don't forget this. Notes, where is the note? I have my notes here. So altcoins, Trax. Oh, it is Trax, not Traxa, right? Trax. Naka. Okay, I really don't know these even. I think, but we could. I will look into them, and then we have. I think Trax is also something what was worth watching. So we have some. Let me know all of your altcoin picks that are good for the next bull run to look at them. We have been looking at Chainlink. We have been looking at Arweave already. We have been looking at GFAL. We have been looking at Veracity. We have been always looking at Ecomi. So we have been looking at 5 or so, but I think it's worth watching more of these. So we see that Immutable X is down. There is some news for Immutable X with Amazon. We see that Tezos is correcting after having pumped. Rollbit is still going up. Atom minus 4%. So I am looking where to DCA now, but I'm not quite sure yet. I have to look into my portfolio, which one will be the next DCA for me. There are a couple of coins that I want to swoop up. Yeah, on the week we have some like XRD that have been pumping before, correcting now. If we look on the month we are still up for MakerDAO, for Chainlink, for WeMix. I don't even know this coin, WeMix, and this is top 100, right? So they have been pressing into the top 100. We have Solana, Vechain is still up 8%, Render is up tremendously. So only a couple of projects are really up, and we see the absolute on the year to year. Casper, Injective Protocol, Render, Ocean. So Ocean, because it's an AI play. Render is basically shared GPU project. Those are all up. But if we look at the year to year, for example, Chili's and Ada and Algorand, they are near protocol. They are still deep in the gutter. So I think there is a lot to scoop up yet. And let me see the top 200, what's there. Also there we see Pendle is new, already up 1000%. Keep that always in mind when you have these. But there's, for example, Anchor, which I didn't buy yet, which is a good one. Arweave is here, which I have been discussing. So there are a lot of coins in the red that are yet to pump, and some of them we don't know. Some of them never come back, right? So yeah, there we go. Now let's get to the charts quickly, because with a look at the time, we should discuss this, and this is very interesting because right now in front of the Fed minutes, and let me just refresh this quickly, the dollar is actually taking a breather here and is actually coming down, and we have been anticipating a bounce here. And when we had the live stream last time, the bounce was happening, and then we have been slightly closing under this. Yesterday's live stream we've been discussing this, right? That we have been in a candle under this, and now we closed under the trend line. So right now it will be interesting if we bounce here, maybe for a retest or so, and if we after the Fed minutes continue to go down, because that traditionally should bring our Bitcoin up, right? By the way, I can bring myself back into the stream here. That should bring Bitcoin up. However, what we see here also is, even if this trend may be broken, we have here some confluence for this trend line, and if we bounce on this one, we could also basically just have some kind of a pullback and come back. But what we need for the dollar is to crash, and for that we need that there is no further Fed rate hike, and at some point quantitative easing. So we really want to have this coming down over time right now, or for me it can crash, right? But we really need news for that. And the most important thing is that we form a major downtrend in the long run here for this whole thing. Sorry, here we see it, for this whole thing, so that crypto can pump. That is the most important thing. As you know, when the dollar goes down, usually markets go up. Now, what is going up, in fact, is the Nasdaq, right? The Nasdaq reacts perfectly to this, as you can see here. Let me get this into the picture for you guys. So there we go. So the Nasdaq, we have been talking about this, and it works perfectly with our analysis right here at the bottom for Nasdaq. And now Nasdaq coming up in a rally because of the DXY retesting and this upper trend line. Very interesting stuff here for something that is crashing. That is a big rally, right? However, we are not out of the woods yet, because we could be just forming this, right, and then at some point lose this trend line. However, if we break out to the upside, that would be, then it would change everything, right? So if we break this trend line, retest, and then go rally, that would change everything, and that would be good for Bitcoin as well. So here we see that the Nasdaq is directly inversely correlated to the DXY, right? Because the time frame that we're looking at is this here, and yeah, we see right now this pullback, and on this pullback in the Nasdaq we see this rip up, and when we have been rallying on the DXY, we have been coming down here. So overall, this correlates in the movements with the Nasdaq. So 16 people here, guys. Don't forget to smash up the like button right now. Please smash up the like button so that we get these likes on the stream. Luke is here. Good morning, Luke. How are you doing? How is the rest of you doing? How are you feeling right before New York Comic Con and VeVe and Ecomi? I want to come back to Charles Delgado's 5K waiting to get into Ecomi, because but just in a second, because we have to, or we want to talk about Bitcoin. And actually I have to reload this chart, because that is not the current chart. There we go. So Bitcoin actually is at a decisive point, and Bitcoin latestly does not react immediately to the DXY, because look at this, we have this upward sloping channel since the bounce of our low at the 11th of September, and this channel is true until broken, right? And what we are seeing right now, eventually these rising channels, they break to the downside, right? 70% or so break to the downside. 70% of them break to the downside. Now we could be breaking to the downside, but we have to wait another 17 hours for this candle to close, and it depends on what is discussed in the Fed minutes. That is why I pulled this up in the beginning, right? If we lose this channel to the downside, we are more likely than not coming down here, and then we are more and more looking like we are forming a big head and shoulders for Bitcoin to come down to some of these levels, right? So that is going on. Hey PH, hey JKRB, what is going on? Welcome to the stream. Good morning. By the way, I cannot forget to take some coffee here. And Andre Omigecko is here. GMPH, best from Frankfurt. Greetings to Frankfurt, Omigecko. Hope you're doing well. Hope the weather is as good as it is in Munich, in Frankfurt. So we have been looking at this since basically since, I don't know, longer than 1.5 months, to see whether this plays out, right? This head and shoulders, or if this plays out somewhat like a W-shaped pattern to come back up. Now, we will see, because this is not set in stone. Sorry about that. This is not set in stone, because we could just rally and close within this channel, right? Or we can just close within this channel, and tomorrow we get a bounce because the Fed says something more dovish about the economy and so on. But if we close this below, then expect more downside. And that's also before I put my DCA in, I want to see where this goes, right? Because if this closes inside, then okay, probably we are going up. But if this closes outside, I want to wait for further downside, right? That's basically why I'm doing TA. I'm not doing TA to take trades, not yet at least. I'm trying to figure out where I want to put, where and when I want to have a good time for DCAs. That said, Bitcoin dominance is still heavily on a rise, and more like it looks like, Bitcoin dominance looks like it wants to break out, right? It wants to break this line, it wants to go up. It's a little bit consolidating at the moment, but I mean, we are at 51%, 51.1%. That's almost the cycle high for Bitcoin dominance. And also interesting, because we are right now again added to lose this level on the altcoin market, right? This is the total altcoin market. We have been talking about this quite a bit on this channel. If we lose this, altcoins get absolutely hammered. And that is, if this happens, you want to have some dry powder to scoop up altcoins when they have already crashed, because this could lead, if this level is lost on a macro, like on a weekly, then this could lead to a 50% drawdown across all altcoins, right? Sorry, you don't see it here. If this level is lost, we could see a 50% correction in all altcoins, right? We don't want that. We want to have the bounce. We want to come up and we want to break out. But we have been also observing this for months now. Let's come to what Charles Delgado said here to the Ecomi price, because Charles said he wants to put something into Ecomi, but Ecomi is sitting at these levels here, actually at 0.0089, and I honestly have to say I don't know if we will get much better prices. Maybe 0.008, yes, that's all in the cards, right, to form something like this. And as I said before, if we lose this level, here, then altcoins can get absolutely hammered, and also Ecomi would get hammered, and then we could see something like this coming down here, or even coming down to the top of this level here before we coil up. So something like this is imaginable. This doesn't mean that, because I said before I'm expecting an ABC correction here, but this can also look like this, right? ABC on top of this and then come back up, right? I would say, but this goes without any financial recommendations. I mean, you do what you do. If you think you must buy here, then you buy here. If you want to wait for a pullback, you buy here. And it's your decision, right? I'm just showing you what I see in this chart. ABC correction, right? If it comes, nice, we can buy. If it doesn't come, what we also could see is just we're just slowly but surely coiling up, and it never comes. I personally, what I do is I wait, because today is a decisive day where we could have market information coming in. If today plays out well, and the Fed minutes and the PPI and everything, and maybe it's not even about today, but waiting just a little bit to have markets unfolding to see if Bitcoin loses this level, right? We want to see that. So I will definitely wait with everything that I do and have right now for Bitcoin to give me a signal where the market is going, and then to see how Ecomi reacts, because even if Bitcoin rallies, Omi can pull back here, right? So for me personally, this is a wait and see, right? Just as we have been waiting and seeing up here and then had our crashes, right? So I think you can't go wrong by waiting and seeing. And also, if you consider the RSI, for example, there's plenty room to the downside, right, for Ecomi. So we have been overbought in our peak. Now we are consolidating, but we are nowhere near to a level where you would say, hey, look, if we consider ourselves already in the bull run, then we want to at least see some level of 40 or something like that on the RSI, right? This level here, to say, okay, we buy now, or I don't know, something like that. So obviously, now let's discuss the risk also here, because if Charles here is sitting on the sidelines, waiting for a signal, and tomorrow at New York Comic Con, they announce something big other than what they have already announced, like for the Ecomi token, which I really doubt that during Comic Con they are going to shift the focus to the Ecomi token. But if they did, then you have a rally and then you miss your entry point, right? But I highly doubt that there is something coming out for the Ecomi token tomorrow. So I think at least for tomorrow, you can wait how things play out. And I think during the whole Comic-Con, we can wait to see how things play out. And if you would take this moving average, for example, I mean, we have lost the support here. We are not quite breaking it. We could have the moving average go like this and us staying below it, some kind of a resistance, right? But yeah, that is all guessworks. I see a big picture here. The big picture for me is a bullish pattern unfolding at the moment. We just don't know how deep this shoulder can go. And if we are forming a new low, which I highly doubt that we will, but if we come down to a new low, then this pattern gets invalidated, right? It doesn't look like it. So I am just, for me, it's just I'm DCAing into Ecomi. I buy here and there. I have my 3-point-something million, and I'm fine with that. If I can get to 4 million, I'm really happy. But we'll have to wait and see, guys. Quickly, because I mentioned it before for IMX, I saw this yesterday. Amazon and Immutable want to make it easier to launch crypto games. So Immutable X is absolutely in this crypto gaming part, and Ecomi is part of the IMX ecosystem, which is why I pulled this up, or why I found it interesting. So Immutable has joined Amazon Web Services ISV Accelerator program to develop blockchain gaming infrastructure solutions, which lets us hope that there is also some gaming integration for Ecomi in the end. That is obviously good, but Ecomi is not mentioned in this article, obviously, because there are no games at the moment on Ecomi, but we are on this ecosystem. So good step for Immutable X, good for us in the long run, I would say. Alan Thompson says, all the best from Manchester. Patient, greetings to how do you say Manchester? Greetings to Manchester. Manchester lads have been having a party here when Manchester United played against Bayern Munich. So they have been chanting and singing in the center. It was really nice. I took a video of this. So they had all their flags hanging around the, what is that? Is it the Killians? So some Irish pub, interestingly, close to the Maria's church, or no, the women's church in Munich. So that was really nice. I don't know if you have been traveling with them, but yeah, that was really nice. VeVe. Okay, so we had so much big news for VeVe yesterday. That we do not have really new announcements for today, but we see here some people have some fan art for the addiction comic already. So this community is crazy, right? The VeVe fam is really crazy, because you see here apparently people have been doing where's this reply going to, by the way? Let me see. Oh, the addiction fan art contest. Okay, so this is why. So Mondo Freeman has put out here apparently that there is an addiction contest going on. So let's listen to this quickly.
Given to Hey guys, Andrew here. First of all, I want to say thank you so much for all the love and support that you have given to us in the last couple of days. It's been such a wonderful experience. We weren't expecting this level of engagement and love that you have given us, and we're embracing it, and we cannot wait to meet every single one of you in the next couple of days at New York City Comic Con. With that being said, I've been thinking in the last couple of days, how can we, the Addiction team, give back to you guys because of everything you have done for us? So this morning I talked to Vincent, and as many of you know, we both work at Metropolis Collectibles. And I said, hey, we should do something to give back to the VeVe community. So we decided to bring into this whole beautiful thing that is going on in between you guys and the addiction, to bring in Metropolis Collectibles. So we're gonna run an addiction fan art contest, and actually it's gonna start right now, and it's gonna run until next Sunday, which is the day that New York City Comic Con ends. Okay, so all you have to do is to create beautiful art pieces. It doesn't matter if it's digital, traditional, it can be film, it can be, I don't know, photography, 3D sculptures, animation, 2D animation, stop motion animation, whatever you want to do, as long as as your piece of art is inspired by the addiction and its characters. Okay, so next Sunday night we're gonna pick 3 lucky winners.
Okay, so very interesting. We will come to the reward. So if you haven't participated yet and you are someone that is into art, then obviously this is interesting for you. As Energy says, some fan art is made with AI. There's no way all went full art artist. Yeah, and the question is, can we distinguish this? I mean, if an AI is generating the art, the AI should get the reward, right? But on the other side, you could argue that people are being creative with AI. So yeah, it's for sure interesting. So let's listen to the rest of this quickly.
And because of Metropolis Collectibles, we have 3 really cool prizes for you that I'm going to show you right now. So for the 3rd place, we have Walking Dead #1 reprint. This is a CGC signature series. It's graded 9.8, and look how cool. Robert Kirkman signed this book. Okay, so we have this. This is going to be for the 3rd place. For the 2nd place, we have Spider-Man #1 Silver Edition CGC graded 9.8. And don't forget that the cover art, the interior art, and also a story,
that one is on
was
the app,
written
by
Todd McFarlane.
as a digital.
So this is going to be for the 2nd place of this addiction fan art contest. But for the 1st place, we have X-Men 150 CGC graded 9.8. And what is cool is that this is the first appearance of Magneto. So that's it. There you go. I hope you are pumped, and you can start creating.
We are pumped. We are pumped because in general, if you are submitting stuff, that is great. In general, this is the most important thing that can happen in an NFT crypto space, is community, right? So and I think this is what Energy means. This is certainly AI generated. So for example, yeah, I think all of these things, there's no way that, this came out October the 10th, so yesterday. There's no way that someone drew this art based. So yeah, most of this is AI generated. I don't know if this one here could be drawn, hand drawn. I don't know. but there are some people that do hand-drawn stuff, as we can see here. And I think if it's obvious AI and you have a hand-drawn stuff that is looking good, then you should, then you should give preference to this, right? Also, I like the idea of having a creative art with the collectibles to do that in the vault. Yeah, but in general, I think these things are really great, right, for the community. This is really good for the community, and Veve has retweeted some of them. So here we see another one for the addiction fan art. Overall, there are some thoughts also that I saw on the Veve feed on Twitter. Some people were saying this is a digital company and now they are bringing out physical comics, turning digital collectors into physical collectors. I think Danny said that on Twitter, and that is somewhat true, right? Now Veve is going to, as a digital company, bringing out physicals, but I think some people obviously are going to use this as FUD, but I think this is, if you want to have a community that has their feet in both worlds, because there's not going to be a market where it's only one or only the other in the future. So I think to establish yourself, to set yourself up to sell phygital, so digital versions and then physicals optional on top of it, you have to do what Veve is doing right now. And I think this is we are witnessing right now one of the biggest steps for Veve that Veve has ever made with these physical comics, right? So these are available only at NYCC, and some of you have been asking yesterday if we can get someone to bring us some comics here to Europe, for example, for the ones that cannot go. I have been asking around some people. I also asked Corey directly from Veve if we can get some, but he says that unfortunately at the moment we cannot. They cannot sell those physical comics. They are exclusively to NYCC attendance, so we cannot get some sent over. Unfortunately, I tried, but we'll have some. I will ask some other people that are going to NYCC, and these people maybe some. We can get in the end some physicals, either of the addiction, hopefully of the Spider-Man. Otherwise, we'll have to buy them OTC somewhere on eBay or something like that. And hopefully the price is not going to be too high. I really want one of these, and I'm willing to pay a little bit for that, obviously. I'm not quite sure how much they will cost on the Veve booth, but here are the details about this, so maybe we can find out. We know the booth number. Oh yeah, so okay, the list price for the physical variant at Veve Marvel booth is $20, and then there is the Veve physical variant and the Veve Virgin variant bundle available for purchase at Veve booth with $50. So if someone of the people that are watching this stream is going, please bring some for me. I will pay this up front. Just get in touch with me on Twitter. Tag me on Twitter in the comments so that I can follow you, so that we can discuss this. And in any way, I will try to get, but this bundle, I really want to have at least one bundle, maybe several bundles for the people that ask me here from our community, Patient Hodler community, so that we can get this comic bundle, right? So $50, absolutely fine. Just let me know when you're going, or maybe you want to buy them first, if you can get them, and then let me know via Twitter so that I can purchase them from you, and obviously also the shipping costs to Germany and everything around that. But with that said, there will be a lot of flippers now going to VeVe New York Comic Con, and we will closely monitor what's happening at New York Comic Con. I really want to have some physical stuff. I mean, I have shown it before. Jordan gave me this poster here. I have not brought it up on a wall yet. Oh, this Zorro poster for One Piece, right? Here you see it. This one here, for example, and then some local stuff. Also, we have bought. Let me see where I can put this. We have just bought, because my girlfriend liked it so much. We have just bought this here. This is a painting from the local market here. So there's a painter on the market that is there since, I don't know, 20 years or so. That is from the Munich Viktualienmarkt, a painting. So I like physical stuff and I like to have it around. Although I'm a digital collector, and but I think I would be really glad if Charles says I will be there at NYCC on Thursday. I'm so ready for it. Hey, can you shoot me a message on Twitter maybe, so that we can discuss if you could bring me one or two of these bundles, if you can get your hands on it, and we will obviously make the whole payment shebang. I'm even willing to pay a little bit on top just for your efforts there. I would really appreciate that one. So yeah, that would be really great, Charles. Energy says, good to know, will maybe design one for you. Wow, okay, that was crazy. So yeah, what I'm planning is, right behind me there's right now the couch, obviously, the sofa. I want to have a wall behind me somehow, but there's not enough space maybe, so that somehow that I can put things on my background, right? Because that would be really good. Or I will have to have something here, some kind of a shelf or so that I can put stuff up, or both, right? So that the wall is here and then the shelf, so that we can get the stuff that is being sent to me also in the daily streaming, right? That would be really, really good. Other than that, guys, once again, before I forget it, first of all, smash up the like button once again. But what I meant is, New York Comic Con is starting tomorrow. That means that from today to tomorrow, we should be very aware of secret drops in the app, right? We had that last time. Many of us missed the secret drop. Be aware, have maybe, I don't know, $6.99 for secret comics if they launch. Have $6.99 ready to be able to profit, and then, although we do not like the flipping in general, but and then try to get a profit out of that comic if you got it, and then buy back in later into that secret comic. Not financial advice, obviously. This is what I'm going to do, but be aware of that. Maybe we have a chance. Last time it was around 11 p.m. CET with the secret drop. Somewhere around 10, 11 CET, I think. That was the last time of the secret drops. So maybe there will be something around those hours. For sure, they will do something like they did at San Diego Comic Con, just to get people excited, just to get people in the app, right? Yeah. JKRB says, VeVe said no secret drops. Okay. If that's the case, then we are in bad luck, right? No secret drops. But we don't know, right? In the end, it's a secret drop. So if they announce this beforehand, I don't know. And we have seen some already, couple of times, that VeVe said that something is not going to happen, and then it happened, right? So we really don't know about this yet. But anyways, guys, for today, that's it. Thank you all so much for attending. Hopefully, we are getting our hands on some of these exclusive comics. Make sure to smash up the like button to let me know in the comments below if you're going to NYCC, and if we can arrange something for someone bringing me this comic bundle. And yeah, wherever you are on the world, have yourselves a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon. And I see you tomorrow at Crypto. Oh, by the way, before I completely forgot it, there will be another live stream this evening. So at 11 p.m. CET, I will be going live with 200 million Omi man Jordan Reese. I will be going live in tonight, 11 p.m. CET with Jordan Reese, and we are going to talk solely about VeVe and Ecomi and investing and life as an entrepreneur versus life in the hamster wheel, and all that good stories will be there. We are going to talk about the future potential of Ecomi and everything else. So stay tuned for that one. Tick the little bell, subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss that one. That is very important. And with that out of the way, wherever you are on the world, have yourselves a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon.